Hey everybody, Tom Miller here, and thanks so much for clicking on this video or listening to the podcast, wherever you're at. Very, very exciting times for us, for my company, Leaders Building Leaders, and for me, that I finally got this book done. It only took 10 years, but I'm really excited to be able to share some of the parts of this book with you. If you haven't downloaded it yet, it's completely free. It's an ebook. And if you're watching me on video, I've got mine just printed out here in a nice 3-ring binder. It's a piece of cake, and I was reading it today, and going through, I said, hey, this isn't that bad. So hopefully you feel the same. So here's what I would love to be able to do. I would love to be able to each week to send out a lesson, a little bit about what's in each chapter, how to best use the book, some of the resources that are in the book, but also some of the resources that I'm continuing to learn as I interview principals, as I visit other charter schools here in North Carolina and across the country. So hopefully, if you haven't downloaded the book, it's okay. There will be a link right here, wherever you're watching this video or listening to the podcast. There's a link there, or you can just go to our website at lbleaders.com. At the very, very top, you're going to see a green bar, and it says download our book. And you can just click on it and give us your email address, and we'll send it right to you. And you'll have that, and you'll also have your wheel of success. So best way to use the book: download the book, take the 10 indicators assessment. It takes less than 10 minutes, and you're going to go through each of the 10 indicators, and you're just going to, in a subjective way, as best as possible, rate each of your current, where you feel your school is currently based upon these 10 indicators. And then you're going to get an instant chart that's going to show you your score and how your score compares. And then what we do is, we actually have whole teams take it. So I would highly encourage you to have your instructional leadership team, members of your operation team, even members of your board take it. Maybe your high performing teachers. It's great. The more people that take the assessment, the more that the awareness is going to be raised in your organization, right? And then you download your wheel of success, and then you could chart your score. So let me show you what that might look like for you. So the wheel of success is here. You can download this, and then for each score, for each of the 10 indicators, there's a rating from 1 to 5. So just really look at if we were looking at 20%, right, per every quadrant, whatever your score is for that actual quadrant and your team overall score, that's just where you put your dot. And then when you're done, you're going to see how well your wheel is actually rolling, right? Is there some areas that need more attention? And here's what your might look like, right? And so each one of these indicators, you'll put your score, and you could put an arrow, right? You could put a circle around it, because ultimately, you just want to see where each indicator is, right? Where it is in a conversation with you and your team, or you can just do it by yourself, right? And it'll give you a bottom line of where we need to start to improve. Okay, so take the time to download your own wheel of success. It's right there in the book, and it'll come in the email with you. But then start to actually work it. And there's some action steps in the wheel of success for you to actually do. Okay, so that is going to be your first step, right? First step: download the book, take the assessment, fill out your initial wheel, maybe put the date on it, right? Put the date on so then when you go back and reassess, you can maybe make some adjustments to it. So there's a great resource right there for you in the book to be able to tackle. But what I wanted to do is I just want to spend just a few minutes walking through the first indicator, which is on clear and sustained mission and vision. So I'm gonna be writing the book here with you, because I've been writing my own notes about what I need to do for myself and for my organization, and for the organizations that I help. So, mission, right? Let's just talk about mission, because, the mission is why your organization exists. Now, missions are written on the walls of most, if not all, organizations in some capacity. They're just words on a wall or words on paper. But the highest performing organizations, they live out their mission, right? I mean, it's more than words. It leaks out of people. It's shown in the actions. It's demonstrated through their stories and their celebrations and their ceremonies and their rituals, right? I mean, it's just why they exist, right? It's why everybody gets up, and it drives the overall decision making of the organization. Now, I mean, a little bit about how this book came about. I mean, in 2009, I was a charter school principal, and I was working at a very successful charter school, and but I was also writing my dissertation. And at the time, so I had the opportunity, part of my dissertation was to go observe, analyze, evaluate, learn from the highest performing charter school leaders in all of North Carolina. So I was able to go and understand these schools' missions, and then walk the hallways, talk to the stakeholders, and really get an understanding of how their missions, right, become more tangible. And so what I just found is that these, schools over years, I mean, it had hardly changed. The founders were still there over a decade, which is almost unheard of with a lot of charter schools. The original core principles of it were still there. So I remember, going back to where I worked at and checking out the mission, because it just hadn't been, something that I had ever experienced as a school district employee. And I'm sure our school district had missions. It just wasn't communicated at the level that it needed to be. So I really started to get very mission focused and vision focused. We're going to talk about that in a second. But the mission is why your organization exists. Could be maybe the most important out of all the indicators, right? Because it's your why, and it should really drive what you do for those other 9 indicators. And it needs to be clear, right? It needs to be clear. And then and in here in the book, I give multiple exercises for you to work through your own mission, to really understand and identify whether it's clear, whether it's trainable, whether it resonates with people. How do you see maybe the tangible pieces around it? So make sure when you're in the book, right, take the time. I know it's electronic, right? But take the time to do the exercises, right? Or print the page and work through it, and then share it with your team. Everybody can have a conversation about your mission. So the same mission exercise that I do with the organizations that I consult with or work for, it's now in your hands, right? I gave you the same exercise. And so if schools, when I run into schools that are underperforming at any level, right, they're just muddy. At times they're very muddy with their communication around their mission and their vision. And when you confuse people, you lose people, right? Yeah, in charter school world, it has to be more than a job, because this job's hard enough, right? I want to buy into something. I want to be part of something. I want to be part of something successful, right? Something I can really, really dive into. So walk through the exercises. I put a couple of examples of some high performing schools missions in here. One of my favorites, Sugar Creek Charter School, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina, and their mission is to eradicate generational poverty by providing a college and career preparatory education from kindergarten to 12th grade. That's a purpose I can get around, right? I mean, what a huge piece. And then there's another. This is where my kids go, but Explorer Schools in here, Raleigh, North Carolina. Explorers will be a catalyst for solving present and future problems across the street and around the world. Again, something I can tie into, and I could see, right? I could see how my education plans could rally around those pieces. So again, working through this mission section, and then just a last part here. Why does a mission matter? Well, when your mission is clear and everybody's bought into it. When I say everybody, I'm the higher key parts of the organization at first. Why does it matter? recruitment. You want to recruit people that are bought into your mission, that are aligned, that are like-minded. Because if you hire someone who's not like-minded to your mission, and if your mission's changing the world locally, and they don't really believe in that, their work is not going to buy into it, right? Their actions aren't going to buy into it. If they're like a pessimist, I don't want a pessimist working for me, and I'm trying to make change, right? It's a crazy example, but again, first and foremost, recruitment, getting effective employees, because employees want to ask themselves, why do I work here? Like, why does this school exist? How do we behave here? Like, I want to know, I want to be part of something because I want to wear that t-shirt with pride. I want to be part of that organization with pride. I want to rally in the community. I want to look those kids in the eyes and let them know, like, hey, you're in a great, safe place, and here's how I know why. Okay, critically important. And also decision making. Every decision you make should be filtered through your mission. Okay, I mean, just look at it as the sun, right? And everything just pretty much revolves around it. Okay, so that's the mission. Make sure you take the time to go through the exercises. Now let's talk about vision. Big difference between the two, both critically important. Now, vision is a more tangible. It's more of an end result. It's something I can actually see, right? You can see the mission through the actions and the rituals and the stories and the ceremonies, but like a vision's like an actual, like, hey, we're getting closer to the destination. And a great example is that my phone, right? If I want to go somewhere, I don't ask directions, I ask the address, because I put the address in my phone, and my phone tells me exactly how to get there. It gives me a map, it gives me a GPS map so I can follow it. Well, your vision for what success looks like in each of these 10 indicators, right? That's vision. So as part of the exercise, you're going to, a 5 out of 5 is as high as you can get on the wheel for every indicator. You're going to take the time to write out, what would a 5 look like with mission and vision? What would a 5, look like in terms of a culture focused on a safe learning environment? What would a 5 look like, parent and stakeholder partnership and fiscal vitality, right? And all the other indicators that effective governance and quality work at the school. So you're going to write that out. That's 5. That's vision. When you write it out, right, and you put it down on paper, this is where we're going. This is what I want to. This is what I envision it will look like. So then when I put it in my phone and I'm heading in the right direction, I can see that I'm following the line, right? Again, making decisions through your mission and your vision is critical, because every decision is going to take you closer to or further away from the end up goal. So it's important, right? If I make a wrong turn with my phone says rerouting, right? It's trying to find a new way to get there, or it's saying turn around, dummy, right? Now, we don't have those with our organizations, but in a way we do, because if we're clear with our vision and we know where we are, and we know how decisions we make are going to help us get there, right? Or hope that they'll help us get there. When I can see it working, and I can see evidence that it's working, I can see that we're improving, through the data, through the feedback, then I know that we're getting closer to it, right? So it's such an important part to have a clear vision of what success will look like, because without vision, people perish, right? They don't literally die, they just kind of flounder. They're not really sure what to do. So, and then when you create your long-term vision, okay, then you could create your long-term goals, your annual goals, your quarterly goals, which drives your actions. Okay. And so such a critical part. You can't, a lot of people do, strategic planning. We can't write a plan without a vision, and you can't write a plan without goals. So you got to start up there, get your vision out first, then you get your goals done. Then you can start to work on the plan. But when you don't have a clearly communicated vision, it leaves room for side visions. There's a lack of focus, wasted resources, and lack of functional work. So great activity to clarify your vision, right? Look at these 10 indicators, look at the benchmarks, right? And then write out, journal. What each indicator would look like out of 5. Do it multiple days in a row. I say 10 every day. Start fresh, and by the 10th day, you're going to have lots of clarity on what you want the school to look like, perform like, what you want students to see and experience and teachers to feel and be able to do with all those pieces. And then you could start to, create your goals on the back end of it. All right. So first chapter, mission and vision, why we exist, where we're going. And just one last, piece here. Vision, right? Without vision, it's hard to see, right? It's hard to see without vision. Well, you can't see without vision. So one of the best ways, right? And I already talked about this. This, school was birthed, or this, book was birthed out of this activity, was going to see other schools, was going to see high performing schools. Because if we don't have good models here, right, we're not going to really grow. We need to get off of our islands, charter school leaders. We need to get out of the four walls of our building and the four corners of our property. And we need to go find high performing schools. And we need to go visit high performing schools. And we need to go learn from high performing school leaders. And that is going to be the best vision exercise for you. And that's a big part of our, building and borrowing, exercises that are, part of Indicator 4. But it's something we do here in North Carolina. Is we have our regional school leader consortium, and every quarter I bring 25 to 30 school leaders, directors, teacher leaders to these high performing schools. They tour the school, right? Then we sit down and we get to do a Q&A with the leadership team. We have a great networking lunch. And then we write our action steps, right? We take out our indicators and our wheels and say, okay, this is what I saw, and here's my action steps for improvement. I would love for you to be part of that program, right? Wouldn't that be awesome if you're here in North Carolina? And even if you're not here in North Carolina, it's okay, because you could still visit high performing schools in your own area, but you could be part of our exclusive inner circle, right? It's such a great, group. So what our inner circle is made up of is charter school principals, charter school directors, and just, leaders of the organization. They meet each week in a Zoom setting, right? In a Zoom mastermind in small groups, where they get to bring their challenges and, talk about, just things that they're trying to overcome. Or I got a problem with this staff member, something maybe have, but the power of the group, there's so much power in proximity, right? So each week we come together, whether we have an expert training session, whether we have one of our small mastermind groups, right, or our large group where there's 60 to 70 members in the Zoom at one time, bringing their challenges and ideas to the table. So I would love for you to be part of the inner circle. And with the inner circle comes our school leader consortium, right? So each week we come together, we keep each other moving, and then every quarter we meet somewhere at some school or some event center, and we come together, right, to build our relationships, to build rapport, to just feel refreshed, right, to meet other people that go through the same challenges that we do, right, who understand what it's like to be a charter school principal. So we'd love for you to participate. Would love for you to be part of either our Inner Circle or School Leader Consortium or any of our other leadership network programs. So there's a link here down in the comments for you to be able to attend here. So either in the description, or you just email me, tom@lbleaders.com, put in the subject line Inner Circle or Clear Vision, do whatever you want. Just I'll see it, and I'll immediately get back with you and let you know about our Inner Circle and our other leadership programs that can help you build leadership capacity in yourself, in your team, and so your organization can completely soar to where it should be. So I hope this added value to you. Wherever you're listening, hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you get an update every time that we go live or that we post a new message. And if I said something you like, hit the like button. If I said something you're not really sure or you don't like, I'm not saying hit the dislike button, but it's okay. I like feedback. Feedback's important. But drop a comment, email me, and tell me what you would like to learn more about, and we'll make sure we have that. And we're always looking for guests on our podcast and on our leadership programs to help us talk about these 10 indicators. So if you believe you lead a high performing school and you want to highlight your school in one of our programs, go ahead and email me, and we would love to have you on our show. So thanks, everybody. I'm Dr. Tom Miller, raising your awareness. Bye-bye.